All aboard? Question mark?
Yeah, I guess so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Rails, the Disney tangent show, or whatever it's called anymore. I can't be bothered to remember what this is actually called. Hi, I'm Craig. I'll be your conductor on today's show called Off the Rails. I think I already said that. And today I'm going to be joined by a bunch of good people, including Rhino.
Hello.
Jackie.
Hi there.
And our dear friend Trey.
What's up?
And Trey, we'll learn about you a little bit more in a second, but before we can do that, of course, we have to get to those fun plugs, like saying, hey, this show's brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like us and you want to support our content, consider booking your next Walt Disney World vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel, and it costs you no extra money. All you have to do is just book that vacation, work with one of the awesome agents, and yeah, we'll be able to keep doing these random shows like Off the Rails. So to get a free no obligation quote, head to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today. Then also, please make sure you're hitting the thumbs up on this video. Make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube and that you're leaving comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comment section below. And if you're listening to this, please make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. And then also, please make sure that you're leaving us 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. And now it is time for our fun show here. But before we get to the show, of course, we need to introduce you to Trey, because you might not know who he is. What year were you a part of our marathon show, Trey? That was 2018? 2019?
Yeah.
So one-time marathon show appearer for one pre-recorded segment. So yeah, he's pretty famous, if you want to call it that. I'm not quite sure. But yes, Trey is a friend of the Diz. We've been personal friends now for also
Almost
2019. I don't
No, before 2019.
Before was
Because
that?
it was Galaxy's Edge opening.
2019.
That was 2019.
Oh, I guess
yeah.
it feels like a lifetime. You're that type of friend.
So, like,
I know, right?
what you're trying to say is you've been friends for 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I mean,
And, it's so Trey was gracious enough to join us this week on the episode because, once again, Denny is still off for a little bit and we can't wait till she's back. But in the meantime, the show must go on. So we are what, Rhino?
I was going to say it was pre-2019 because you and I had a fishbowl at the Contemporary, but that also might have been 2019 before we didn't know not to drink out of each other's drinks.
That was the trip where where we all went to Galaxy's Edge that weekend. That was 2019.
Oh God, yeah, a lifetime. Sorry,
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
It's 2019. It was a hopping year. So
You know what?
So
I
many
went down there so much in 2019 that it's hard to tell.
well, and I doubt you use Dreams Unlimited Travel every single time.
I actually didn't.
Jeez.
No, because you know what? And I will say I am using them for my trip coming up in September. Because
Converted him.
Because, yes, y'all converted me. And the only reason I didn't for this, because I'm coming down there in a couple of weeks actually. This time is because it was just spur of the moment. There's like nothing available on property, so it was like,
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We understand. We understand. So, Trey,
it's probably not the time to say I didn't use Dreams.
no, you're already on. So that's you already made it on the show. If we were still like, if this was the green room and we were pre-interviewing you, we'd be like, oh, actually, we're gonna pass, and we'll be in touch later. But it's okay. No, Trey, thank you so much for being here. I don't know if you want to share anything else about yourself right now. I'm gonna say first, before anyone else gets to, happy birthday, because the day that this is live, it will be your birthday. So everyone, wish Trey a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
No, I meant the people.
You meant right
watching,
now, right?
Like comments.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
Not
us,
you.
and I was like, okay.
No, that sounded
Happy
forced
birthday.
and weird.
I thought that was what he meant too.
Everybody wish him a happy birthday right now.
No, the people commenting, not you guys. That's just no one should be forced to tell anyone a happy birthday. But Okay, I'm speechless.
Well, we did, yeah.
We're 5 minutes into this. This might be one of our worst shows we've ever done with this show yet.
It's off the rails. This is what I always say about. This is what I always say about this, because there are people who complain about the show. I think this is how the show was born. Like, y'all going off the rails. I'm like, look, this is the Diz. This is not eyewitness news.
Right.
Well, here's the great thing about the people who love the Diz. I want to know your opinion. Well, my opinion. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's basically how it's a back and forth of, there are some people who will listen to you talk for hours and will never tell you to stop talking. And unfortunately, those are the people that listen to me, because I'm always like, please tell me when. And then there are the other people who are like, I really want to hear your opinion. I'm done with your opinion the second you start saying it. But that is the internet for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It is. And
Why,
wow,
yes.
we're all fired up for this one. This is going to be a fun topic today. Just sprung it on the team right before we got started here, and we'll see how it goes. But today, we are actually going to invite you to tell us how wrong we are about everything, because this is going to be very opinionated, as if they're not all opinionated. But this one, it's going to hit a lot of people in the heart, and not in good ways. It's going to hit too close to home, because we're talking about what we consider to be overrated at Walt Disney World. And let's be real, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Epcot.
Rhino, you've got to wait. I love you to death. I just need you to wait.
You better leave my Epcot alone.
So there's going to be, this is going to, like, we're fighting as a group. We're going to fight with everyone who's watching. This is going to be a battle royale of sorts. But Rhino, I'm going to open the floor now. What do you consider to be overrated?
I don't know. Imagine. No, I honestly, I do think Epcot is overrated. I am so sorry. I do like Epcot. I like all the Disney parks. I don't actively hate any of them. But I was just thinking about it again the other day, where I was just like, man, if you are not here to sink money into this park, what are you doing here? Like, there's a couple of attractions that are okay. But even then, I think, I mean, I could break down and say, I think every attraction that is at Epcot is overrated. But I think ultimately for me, I know people are going to be so mad about this. I think Soarin' is so overrated. And Test Track.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would agree with you that Test Track is overrated for sure. But this is where we're going to have the tough part as we're going on this journey together today, is that, you know, some stuff I think we have to look at and be like, is it overrated, or was it overrated at one point in time now? And now it's just kind of balanced out. Like Test Track, I don't know. I feel like some people still get way excited about it when they shouldn't. Soarin', I feel like Soarin' now at this point, everyone minus casual fans would agree that Soarin' over the world, or around the world, whatever it's called now, is vastly inferior to the predecessor of
Inferior.
Soarin'. Inferior. Did I make up a word?
You said
Did
insuperior.
I make up a word? Inferior.
Dictionary.
Like,
add it to the list.
It's right next to irregardless.
Yeah. Let them keep coming. Soarin' around the world is junk compared to Soarin' over California. And so for that reason, I don't know if Soarin' is necessarily overrated anymore, but it's definitely, a lot of times it doesn't warrant the waits that you have to wait for Soarin'.
I could see what you're saying about things having settled into that thing. We're like blown out of proportion because it's like new and it's different and people are diehard about it. And then it's kind of settled into that. Like, yeah, of course, when we're at this park, we go to that thing, because what else do you do at this park but go to that thing? So I guess people have accepted what those two things are. So I will allow your point of view.
Yeah, it's like for a little while, I would have accepted your assessment that Frozen Ever After is overrated. And
I think it's settled though.
Yeah, when it was a 2-hour wait, every day and, you know, jump that way as soon as the park opened up, yeah, of course it was overrated for that. But, you know, some of these days with no fast pass right now and you know, it's at 40 minutes, whatever. I think it's a fun, enjoyable ride for 40 minutes. Why not? It's Frozen. It's cute. She pushes you away and you go backwards. So
get out of here.
But Epcot as a whole,
Frozen.
that's a tough one. I know Trey doesn't agree with you about Epcot as a whole.
Well, I want to know. Okay, so I'll tell you how I told you how I feel that essentially, unless you're prepared to sink a lot of money, it reminds me of there was this thing in my town. It was a Renaissance fair called King Richard's Fair, and you have to pay to get in, but then you have to pay for every experience that you have inside of it. All right, and maybe like a carnival or something like that is kind of the same way essentially. So like I feel honestly that's almost what Epcot has become in relation to the other parks. I feel like there are not as many just regular I bought my day ticket experiences to have there, and the ones that are there. So you could argue, well, we have like the film in Canada, we have this film and that film, and I'm like, yeah, well, they're all not Living with the Land. What's the other thing that we watched that they just redid? That's Ty Burrell. His voice is the thing in the video. Is that the land? Planet Earth. Yeah, Planet Earth. Like all that stuff where you're like, I don't want to pay $100 and something for a day ticket to just stand and watch these 5 to 10 minute movies. I want it. You come here, especially when you go to a park like Magic Kingdom, and when you go on Pirates,
Awesome
you go on
Earth.
Haunted Mansion, you go on thing, Awesome Earth. That's it. Yeah, and it's just one of those things where I don't think that Epcot really offers anything that isn't a plus experience, So essentially every time you buy food, that's a plus experience, right? Because it's not free. So like anything that you have to pay for, and don't get me wrong, like I like the festivals. I enjoy that food, but it is, are we just changing the name of it all the time?
Well, we finally got there with Awesome Planet Earth. Awesome Earth. Awesome Planet. Yeah.
Awesome Planet. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Is that okay? I couldn't figure out.
That was the Wayne's World, like Dick Clark.
Yeah, it took me a while to get there, but I got there. Sorry,
Sergeant
you do like
York,
the festivals,
Dick Sargent.
Blah blah.
Dick Sargent wasn't too much.
Yeah, I know. I like the festivals, but my problem is that I was just thinking where I'm like, if I'm not here to eat and drink, I don't really feel like I'm there for anything, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Just
me, maybe. Just
rebuttals.
Defense.
And
Come back for me. Come for me.
That my defense of Epcot, I realized as we were talking about it, was coming from a sort of biased place where I have to realize something that might not be the case for everybody going into Epcot, and that was, before all this, before 2020 happened, I was in AP, and you can just kind of, with your annual pass, was walking right into Epcot. So
Exactly.
like, it didn't really feel like it wasn't costing anything extra to just get into the park. It just seemed like I was just paying for the food. Like that, it's like the psychological thing. Obviously, you paid for your annual pass, but
no, I think you're right. I think that's a big part of it. That's a great way to think about it too. As an annual pass holder, you're not getting hit with that price every time you go in there, right? So
right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's just I just basically have free reign to go into this place where I can just go graze all day, and because I am a foodie and a drinky, and Epcot allows me to do that, so that's why
tricky.
And you actually are right that it is not a attraction heavy park, and it's not really why I go there. It's more like I just go there. I might hit up a couple of attractions in the morning, but basically when I go to Epcot, I'm just waiting for World Showcase to open, which I've never understood why they open like 3 hours after the park open. But
then not anymore. It all opens at 11 a.m. as we're recording this. So it's like you can start your day right away when you're in there. But I just think that the offerings at Epcot pale in comparison to its sister parks is all right. At this point with Pandora at Animal Kingdom, whether you like it or not, whatever. And we'll get there. And like Hollywood Studios has like Star Wars and Toy Story Land, and then obviously Magic Kingdom has always kind of been the like, but like I don't know. So I feel like we should move away from Epcot though, because I feel like so many episodes in a row I've bashed this, and now I'm going to get a reputation for an Epcot hater, and I'm actually really nervous about it now.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll open up the floor. Does anyone else have any overrated opinions here? What's overrated at Walt Disney World?
Dole Whips.
Okay. Let me ask you it in this way. Which one now? Because there's 9,000 different combinations.
I will say this. Just the regular plain Dole Whip from not
Aloha
Sunshine, Aloha, okay. Because it's a Sunshine Tree, that's the citrus one, which I like better than Dole Whips, by the way.
Yeah.
But I will say Dole Whip in its plain form. Like, I will tell you, I will tell anybody who goes down there, what you should try that does have Dole Whip in it, though, is a Froscato from Wine Bar George at Disney Springs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, just Wine Bar George in general.
I think that's an underrated thing, actually, that whole little thing there. Next episode.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go underrated. So, okay, Trey, I'm going to bounce off of what you just said there. And it's not... I don't agree with Dole Whips being overrated. I like that there is a cold treat on a nice hot day that's not like just a regular ice cream bar or whatever. Like I like that there's something if you know it just feels
a non-dairy.
It feels better. Yeah, and non-dairy, not heavy. That being said, normally I would not pass up the chance to really just crap on a Mickey bar because I do not care for Mickey bars, but I'm even going to stay away from that. And I'm going to go for a bigger target. I think getting ice cream at Magic Kingdom in the ice cream shot on Main Street, USA, I think that is entirely overrated. Yes, you can literally...
It is Edie's...
Yep. Craig Williams, my mother is not going to be happy right now.
Sandy can take a hike.
Sandy is going to be mad. She's going to take her ice cream cone bowl and walk right on out.
She can beat it, bozo. The deal is with that ice cream, it's store ice cream. It's nothing inspired. It's nothing amazing. There is the feeling of getting it on Main Street and having that, having the views, but it lures you in with the smell. They throw that smellizer out there and they're like, oh, it's going to be better than it actually is. And it's not, you're just paying overpriced ice cream.
It smells like any Baskin Robbins, any Brewster's, any whatever.
Yep.
Like it smells like, that's the thing about it. It's like, I wish they just had like unique ice cream. Like, this is why I wish they still had Ample Hills at Disney.
Yeah.
That was unique.
I was going to say, I think my counter to that, to saying like you could see where theme park ice cream goes right, would be at Universal Studios with the Florian Fortescue, and where I feel like when I eat the ice cream there, not only is it the best ice cream like I've had theme park and in Orlando, other than the Greenery Creamery in downtown, I think it's also so unique. Which is why I like that Greenery Creamery as well. But it's just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to walk into Publix and be able to purchase, the chocolate chili or the blondie that I like, or the apple crumble or any of that stuff. It's like not overly insane flavors, but also unique enough that you're like, oh, that's not just like right here. So I will concede and agree.
Oh, yeah, there's no argument. And I don't
there's a difference.
Go ahead.
What's the point?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's a difference between going to Magic Kingdom and buying like a scoop of chocolate chip cookie dough that I can get from the Kroger that's 5 minutes from my house, and buying like the ooey gooey butter cake that Ample Hills had. I'm just salty about Ample Hills.
Yeah.
No, and it's there is no argument to be made with like, oh well, we have to stick to vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream, strawberry because that's what the masses want. No, it's people are not afraid to try interesting sounding ice creams. That's why Ben and Jerry's is the size that Ben and Jerry's is, because people want more than just the plain stuff. Yes, there is a time and place for it. I don't want a banana split with, crickets in it. I don't know why I went there.
Hey, salt and straw.
Yeah, but salt and straw will have you covered on that. it is an overrated experience. If you've watched us long enough, you know my hatred for all things theme park inspired candles. But in this situation, I would tell you that the experience, you'll get a better bang for your buck if you just buy the Magic Candle Company candle that smells like the ice cream shop. You'll get a better experience from that than buying the ice cream on Main Street. And that's all I'm saying on that.
I think we got to get Jackie Gailey to talk about an overrated thing. I need to hear what she says.
Smiles.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, happiness. It's overrated.
I know. You know what though? I think I'm gonna maybe irritate people when I tell you guys what I think is so overrated. So
frowns.
There's this certain sandwich shop at Disney Springs called Earl's Sandwich. And I've gone there a couple of times and I don't understand what the big deal is. Truly. Like, I don't get it. Like, I've been making a turkey cranberry and cream cheese sandwich for my entire life the day after Thanksgiving, right? So even like their holiday one, like I just don't understand. I don't understand what it is that people go nuts for there. And I think it's just because maybe I'm uninformed or something, but when we've eaten there, I'm like, I don't know.
Trey agrees.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't think we've established this. I live in Atlanta. So, I don't live in Orlando or Florida. I live in Atlanta. And there is actually an Earl of Sandwich inside the mall that's right near my office where that I was working in before all this stuff happened. But
okay.
So I would occasionally just go there for lunch. So, and I'm not saying that Earl of Sandwich is not good. It's actually a tasty place. It's just, I feel like, I guess because I associate it with, this is something I can get anytime.
There is an Earl of Sandwich that is off of I-95 in Maryland that I always am trying to make sure that we do the right exit every time, and I miss it every single year I drive home. And I'm always like, I want to go to this, but I can see your points. I'm in the lukewarm side of like Earl of Sandwich. I don't dislike it at all. I really enjoy it. Honestly, I do. But I wouldn't, it's not one of those where I don't know. It's not the be all end all of culinary experience, I guess, for me. And maybe it is because the holiday sandwich isn't the draw for me.
I'm going to come to the defense.
Good, but I don't know.
I'm going to come to the defense. Okay.
The Duke of Sandwich.
Yeah, as the Duke. I am not the Earl of Sandwich. Let's not get that confused. First off, I am just the Duke. As the self-proclaimed sandwich expert of the Diz, I have to say that a lot of the appeal is in terms of the pricing as well as the heftiness of the sandwich. And I know it's now like Earl of Sandwiches, you can find them all over the place now. Like Rhino said, you can find them at rest stops as you're traveling. So it's so much bigger than it was years and years ago. But like my attachment for it personally came when I was on the college program, and even when I first lived in Orlando, because it was not very easy to get a fast food style item that was fair priced and also felt like it was a little bit higher quality than just going to McDonald's and ordering off, the dollar menu and eating that way. I mean, the price of Earl of Sandwich has gone up over the years, but I think it was like $5.99 for a sandwich when I first moved here. So it's like for $6, you could stock up on sandwiches and, take them home, throw them in the fridge. And the sandwiches are hefty enough that you don't need a side with it. You don't need the bag of chips. You don't need soup. You can just eat the sandwich and be fine on your own. So it has gone up in price over the years, but I know it's part of the crazy guy who also partnered with Guy Fieri on Chicken Guy. That's part of his plan of restaurants to make sure that there's affordable options for families and people visiting. So I do like the same way I like it with Chicken Guy. I like with Earl of Sandwich that they are conscious about their pricing. So that way they're not going crazy, because Earl of Sandwich could charge $11 for a sandwich and people would still pay it. But no, they keep it at a nice, fair price. That being said, when you get your Earl of Sandwich, when you get that holiday sandwich and it went through that oven and you still take a bite of it and it's kind of cold, that's when I lose my mind and I'm like, this overrated piece of crap. How could they not get that? Right. So I've had moments,
See,
but for the most part,
that
I
was-
defend Earl.
Okay.
I have.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jackie. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, back home we had a place called Quiznos, and
I love Quiznos.
do you guys have you ever heard of Quiznos?
Yeah, it's a national chain, like Subway.
It was like a national chain.
Yeah,
I've never seen.
I think you know what?
I think they shrunk a couple
of
years ago.
Yeah, it used to be everywhere. There's not as many of them now.
But that was their thing. You're right, Jackie. They put the sandwich through the oven. You're going to say that, right? That was their big. Yeah, everything went through the oven.
Mm-hmm. And we so we've lived on the East Coast now for almost 10 years, actually 11, and I've never seen one here. But we used to love them because back home they used all Tillamook cheese, which we used to go to the Tillamook Dairy when we would go down to Cannon Beach, Oregon for the Thanksgiving. So we always loved that sandwich place. And so they ran their sandwiches through this oven, and it did something to them that made it just perfect. It wasn't too hot, but there was never any cold parts. And anyway, it was just the right amount of toasty. Mm-hmm. And when we had sandwiches a couple of times at Earl of Sandwich, I was like, they're not doing this right, because it's not all the way warm all the way through, and it's not toasty, and I don't understand what all the hype is. So
I love a good toasty sandwich. Who doesn't? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I do have another thing at Disney Springs that I feel like we should all talk about, because I think everybody in here is a fan of it except for me. Mm-hmm. But I think it's so overrated is Homecoming.
No.
I do not think it is a bad restaurant.
In Homecoming alone.
He got up out the chair.
I do not think it is a bad restaurant. I just think if you are not there for like the fried chicken, then I don't know. The desserts are great, the moonshine cake or whatever, but I don't find
Hummingbird?
anything on the menu that I ever enjoy. The Honeybird, yes. You're sorry, Jack. Yeah,
Hummingbird. Yeah, you know what? My husband would agree with you. Actually, if he was on this show right now, he would agree with you, because we thought he was going to flip out for that restaurant. And I mean, it was like, I thought it was good.
It's everybody's like number one recommendation though. That's the crazy part, where I'm like, I think there's better restaurants to go to Morimoto Asia or something like that. Like go to, I don't know. I don't even like the Boathouse that much, but go there over that. Like, no, but
definitely not the Boathouse. No, I do love Morimoto Asia, but there's too much of a discrepancy in price between how I eat at Morimoto Asia versus how I can eat at Homecoming. I can order the chicken entree at Homecoming, and I am filled to the brim. I can't do, I'm still going to do the apps. You got to do the apps, but
you got to get the deviled eggs, bro.
I'm skipping dessert, but I'm leaving there full with Morimoto, especially if I'm going down sushi. Corey Martin has taught me a lot of things, and one thing he has taught me is if you don't walk out of a place with $100 sushi bill, then you did not order sushi correctly. And it's just so, like, I love Morimoto Asia, but it just gets way too ridiculous. I love Wine Bar George, but that's not a cheap meal either. I feel like, again, a lot of mine comes back to pricing. I feel like Homecoming, it's awesome food at a very fair price. It's a little expensive for some dishes.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say,
overall.
I feel like it's a little, I don't know. I haven't been blown away by anything, I guess. I have enjoyed, I do love that they have, I like that they have the refillable water bottles. Yeah, keep it in the trunk, and like, and I think that's like a fun shtick to have for Disney Springs, but it's just like everybody when they're like, oh yeah, you've got to do it, and I was like,
Yeah.
nah. So whenever I have friends who come into town, they're like, I'm going to do this, and I'm like, have fun.
See you later.
I will ask this about Homecoming. This is why I jumped out of my seat, because have you ever been there for brunch?
No, but you have talked to me about the brunch nonstop since you've had it. So you have to tell us about the brunch.
It's different. You know what the thing I do like about it, because
I did go for the brunch once, I think.
Oh.
Maybe when it like first started. Anyway, go ahead.
But first of all, I just love a good brunch. But I think I guess again my bias to that is it is an easy restaurant to walk into when you're traveling solo like I do, and just sit at the bar, order you a couple of cocktails, have a nice brunch. Like they have like that biscuit with the fried chicken and the egg and like the pimento cheese and all that stuff and the bacon. It sounds like a heart attack on a plate, but it's vacation. So, but there's just something about it. Exactly. That's how I feel about Homecoming and Wine Bar George, particularly their brunches on the weekend. I love a good brunch. I like to just chill and maybe at 11, 12 o'clock, enjoy a meal there before heading into one of the parks for the afternoon. It's just like that's one of my favorite things.
Maybe that's the perspective I need to go in with, is like the brunch perspective, I guess, on this.
Yeah.
To give it a try.
Yeah. You just need to start going with the right people. I mean, how many of these have been with Eli?
Me.
Yeah, all of them, I think.
I'm joking. No, it's how I feel. That's why I don't go out with Kylie anymore, because I finally realized every experience I was hating, and then I lined it all up, and I was like, "Yep, it's my wife. That's why. That's why I didn't like it." No.
Oh my
you can't try any of the peanut butter stuff when she's there with you.
Exactly. It's just it tarnishes the experience. But
I hope she doesn't watch this.
Yeah, no, she won't watch this. Someone will definitely send her this clip, though. So.
No doubt.
That'll happen, but she won't watch the full thing. I don't agree with Homecoming. I think it's a gem.
Do you have a food one that you think is overrated, like a restaurant?
I mean, there's some tough ones.
Showing us the pictures of the food.
Wow.
Oh, a food one.
I think the hard-boiled eggs at Homecoming are the most gorgeous things I've ever seen, and I want that serving dish because
the one that's like the little.
Yeah. I love that. And we had to order those, and they were amazing. So those were everything they were cracked up to be. But Jerry is like the biggest fried chicken fan under the sun. And like he just thought he got chicken and waffles the day we went there. And he was like, oh, it's okay. I don't know. I like Metro Diner better.
I do like Metro Diner too.
Yeah. We have one right down the street from our house.
Oh, that's where I ordered my Thanksgiving meal this last year. Actually came from there.
Interesting.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I love that. Oh,
trying to. Okay, so I'm gonna make another bold one, and I do think there's stuff that borders on being overrated, and a lot of times it's our fault for making it overrated. I don't want to say our faults, but like when we're doing these kind of discussions, sometimes I feel like we do talk about how much we love some things so much over and over again that then when you finally like stop and think about it from time to time, it is like I just went against everything I've ever said, because like I'll give you an example. Like I still love Hoop-Dee-Doo Review, and as of the time of recording this, I want it to come back, but a lot of times, I always have a fun experience there, and I always leave feeling satisfied. But it is very expensive for a bunch of picnic food, essentially. That you never know you
yeah.
never know how fast your server is going to be on getting you those drinks. And so if you're going there and you're like, yep, I'm taking advantage of the all you care to drink and it's going to be a good time, and you only see your server twice, it's like right there, that's enough to tarnish the experience. So like some stuff like that's borderline for me. Mine, I'm going to say it. The biggest question we keep getting in terms of food and when things are coming back right now to Walt Disney World is Casey's Corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I always love Casey's, but it's a freaking hot dog.
Yeah, they do sell hot dogs at other locations in the Magic Kingdom.
Agreed.
All you need is the same all beef hot dog heated up the same way that it was heated at Casey's, placed with toppings the same way as it was at Casey's, and it's the same thing, minus the place where you're actually buying it. And the one thing I did admit, I recently did the corn dogs in Frontierland, the corn dog nuggets, and those definitely were not as good as Casey's, but they literally were making them in batches, carrying them across the street, trying to hide them in trays, like they weren't just carrying them, and then giving you ones that were under a heat lamp. Of course, those aren't going to be good. So sometimes, but like, there's nothing to say that they couldn't make those corn dog nuggets in the same fryers at Cosmic Rays and throw it out. That's why the hot dogs have popped up in other places where they can make them and prepare them. I love the nostalgia of the place, and I have a lot of great memories of getting hot dogs at Casey's, but there is nothing unique about those hot dogs that make it significantly better than any other place. It's a well-made hot dog. It just happened to be that it was at this one location, but they can replicate that in other places as long as they have the right tools.
I've said this before, and I think it bears repeating. My joke about Casey's Corner is that I like my hot dogs either one of two ways. I like, sorry, Craig, ketchup and some Goldens.
Yeah, there should be ketchup on a hot dog.
No.
I'm not going to get y'all into that discussion. I've seen y'all have that discussion before. That's going to be a whole nother episode. But or I like chili, cheese, and golden mustard. I don't like a lot of muss and fuss on my hot dog. And Casey's has those specialty hot dogs that's got like a whole Bloody Mary with bacon and jalapeno poppers and a couple of, they go to Chili's and get a couple of Southwestern egg rolls and throw them on. I'm just kidding. But I don't like all that.
I want that hot dog now that you said that. Like, I want that hot dog so bad.
But I'm like, you know what? If I want a hot dog, I can go to Costco and get one for $1.50, and they give you a drink with it.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. You know what, though? They don't have corn dog nuggets anywhere. Is there even a restaurant anywhere that has those?
It's called the grocery store. You buy them frozen and throw them in your air fryer, and then you've got corn dog nuggets. But
they're not the same. But they don't taste the same in the air fryer, though. Like I bought those.
I disagrry with you. I think even heating them up in the oven, they're still fine.
Oh, well, I'm gonna come to your house then, obviously.
Hey, no, Craig does the cauliflower tots. Those are really good. Those in the air fryer.
Air frying is an art form.
Yeah.
I probably haven't perfected it yet because we have an air fryer, but I don't know. We do raw sweet potatoes in it and make sweet potato fries and
I was going to say everything I had in the year 2020 came out of the air fryer. Every single thing.
Yeah,
it's probably why I have a heart problem. But
I have not been using my air fryer as much in 2021. It's like we got to take a relationship break.
I told Eli, I was like, I don't want you to be using this anymore. Like, please, for the love of God. I can hear it turn on, and I'm like, don't you dare.
Don't do it.
It's just you hear that. It's like, oh, yep, air fryer's back on again.
I will say, pop an old slice of pizza into the air fryer when you're reheating it. Change your life on the reheated pizza.
The best way to reheat pizza, and it's weird, but you just need to take, you do like the paper towel trick. You dampen the paper towel, but I put it on like put it in a skillet and do it on top of the oven, and it's heated up nice and slowly, and then it'll take the moisture, and it can come in. If you don't have a lot of toppings, like if it's just a pepperoni or cheese, I just literally lay the piece of pizza flat down on the skillet and heat it up that way. I'm telling you, it's It will.
I'm having
change
pizza
your
tonight.
life. You are.
Very
This
interesting.
conversation has turned into that. Yes, there's no question.
Jerry's
No
gonna
question.
throw burgers on the grill at some point here.
Well, Trey, what are you having tonight?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh, well, I want a
I have not
picture of
thought
it
about
later
it.
now, along with the.
I do want to
It might
say
not be-
this while we're on the. Oh, go ahead, Trey.
I was just saying, Jackie, it might not be picture worthy. It might be, for all I know, I might run the window.
I was gonna say, if people need good cocktail photos, Trey always is he's always got a cocktail going on his Instagram. So if you ever need a suggestion, that's who you want to follow there.
Trey Griffin, I'll write it down. So
good one.
What was I gonna say? I want to say one more overrated thing before we like dip out of this completely or whatever.
It's
I to this day do still believe this. I believe that both Pandora attractions are overrated, but if we use your which one cooled, I think that the River Journey is sitting where it should be, which is where people are like, "What is this?" I think it's enjoyable in terms of it being like, yeah, I was in a river down the water or whatever. But it's like for the average person, they're probably like, "What?" I still think that Flight of Passage is overrated. I won't say that. I'm not going to say it's a. This is the way to plug yourself. I won't
putting
say
a lower third in, so
now he's done the work. I won't say it's like I won't ever tell anybody who says like it's my favorite ride, whatever. That's cool. And I hope you love it every single time that you go on it. But I will still be one of those people who I'm like, don't you dare say anything about Universal and their screens, and then come at me and say that Flight of Passage is your favorite attraction. How dare you? So because there's no question, Rise of the Resistance is the superior of the two attractions to me. But I have had some people who are like, oh yeah, this other one's just better. And I'm like, no, it's not just better. You just personally like it better. But anyway,
if you're going to throw something out like that, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with this, but to say something on those lines, I don't think it would be out of control for our audience to believe and say in the comments. I think we're going to get some people saying Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is completely overrated. And
I actually will probably agree with that, to be honest with you. At this point, I feel like it's cooled in my heart. The things that I love there, I absolutely love as being some of the best. But I think overall as an experience, I don't think it was all it was cracked up to be.
I feel like it's one of those things where when we went that day during Passholder previews, that was our first time. Well, my first time seeing it. I think
it's great.
Seen it a couple of times. Yeah, it's great because you're seeing it for the first time. Once you've been a handful of times, it kind of loses its luster.
I think the problem for me is that it didn't deliver on a lot of promise. That it didn't fill up with those aliens. You know, it didn't fill up with the creatures. Obviously a lot of the not delivering I feel like has to do with COVID, but it was already coming out on that essentially because now you're basically only ever going to see Chewie, Rey, Kylo Ren, two stormtroopers. That's it. And you're like, this is not. I do not feel like I am in another planet all the time. Like the architecture and the structures are beautiful, but you didn't fill it with anything. You just built and deserted it. So it feels like we're in a deserted planet as opposed to somewhere where I was like, that wasn't what we were told. This was supposed to be like a Mos Eisley or somewhere where it was hustle and bustle and yeah, there's a lot of people that fill it in. And I love seeing people with lightsabers, and it has a million great places to take photos. With whatever, but like it's just one of those where overall I don't think it doesn't. I don't know. It's something, right? There's like something.
Yeah.
What I will also say. Oh, go ahead, Jackie. I'm sorry.
No, I just was gonna. I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan. Like I like it. I think it's really cool, and I remember seeing the movies when I was a kid. But I don't think I'm a really good judge of it necessarily. Just because I haven't gotten on Rise of the Resistance yet. So
yeah,
I still have that kind of newbie sort of, vacationer vibe about it.
All right. I will say the thing that apparently got lost kind of quickly with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is that it seemed like early on, like the cast members would interact with you as though you're part of the story. and I feel like that was confusing to a lot of guests, so they've cut back on that. I just distinctively remember I was wearing like this Darth Vader t-shirt. I was wearing this t-shirt. I just happened to be sitting next to my closet. It was this t-shirt right here. And
Trey has the props.
And one of the cast members was like, "Oh, that's nice. Where did you like?" It was kind of like, but it was kind of like in Star Wars speak. I was like, "Well, I'm from the planet Earth, and there's a great merchant called J.C. Penney that I got that from."
Oh, I love that you did that.
A merchant from this faraway land.
Yes.
Actually, J.C. Penney does sound like it borderline could be a Star Wars, like a Jedi name. To be honest with you.
All right.
I don't know, Craig. Awesome. Where do you sit on Galaxy's Edge now that it's cooled a little bit later? Do you still feel like it delivers on its promise?
Well, that's tough because I feel like some stuff does. Rise does.
No question about Rise. Yeah.
The food I think still does. The cantina I do not think does. I think it's for the prices they charge. I know they have to get people through there quickly, but it should be handcrafted cocktails for the prices that they do charge.
Completely agree with that.
A lot of the souvenir opportunities, I feel like once you experience them, it's done. Granted, I still I get excited every time they have a new stuffed animal, like one of their artisanal stuffed animals come out. Like there's one that's going to be a Jar Jar Binks that I'm like super excited about.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, and so I still
I need that one. I need that one.
Like some of how the merchandise rotates in, but there's just there's just a couple things about the land that aren't perfect. So I think. By Rhino, I think overall I'm right in the mix. It's good. It's a great place. I will always look for an excuse to go to Galaxy's Edge, but it's not, it still has potential. And I think I also like that for that reason.
I was going to say that, and then you said the thing about the merchandise, and then I was going to show that I ran from Epcot to get this, and so here I am now bad-mouthing this place that I don't. But I agree with you. I agree with you. Obviously, Rise, the Ronto Wrap, not the Cantina, Docking Bay 7, I really enjoy. And it's like what you said, Craig. I was just telling somebody this morning where I was like, imagine if we had Star Wars weekends again. And we filled it with that energy and those characters and creatures and and something like that. So it's it's still there, but again, the merchandise other than this Jar Jar Binks that I have to get, but it does feel every time I go to Diagon Alley or Hogsmeade at Universal, that Harry Potter merchandise is always rotating. It is always fresh. It is always different, and I really respect that about how they do that with that merchandise. And obviously, rightfully so, that's a big money-making ticket for them. I don't feel like the Star Wars stuff is really turning as quickly as I want it to be.
It's still new, though.
I mean, they're finally starting with the lightsabers, which is nice because they're Rey, and then I know they did Leia's is there again too, and there's another one coming, and so that's nice. But those are also $200, $120 to $200 and something dollars. So it's I want some of that annual pass holder. Keep me coming, new shirts, you're wearing one of the newer design shirts right now, and one of the coaster shirts that they finally did.
It was awesome shirt.
I think they stole that from you, Rhino.
I know they did. It's fine. Yeah, I stole their design. They stole it back. It's fine.
Yeah. That was my worry. The first time I saw you wear that, I was like, "Oh, that artist is not going to be happy if he ever sees his artwork on your shirt." So, does anyone else have any last things to say before I throw out one of the most controversial of all?
Oh no!
I was gonna say one that came up earlier. I'm glad you asked because it jogged my memory. Just this urge to get there at rope drop.
I completely agree with you. I do not like to get up early. And I understand the benefit of being well, now I can walk on everything. But if I am with a party, Craig and I have a great relationship when it comes to this too, because he motivates me to get up earlier than I would. And I always say, I'll meet you there at rope drop. And it's usually 2 hours later. But I feel like he got me in the park a lot earlier than I wanted to. So I am happy to be there. But geez, right at opening, I always find like security and parking and everything is a nightmare.
Like the time I went after Rise first opened, like I remember driving under that arch with those red Walt Disney World letters, just thinking, good gracious, this is probably the only reason you will ever see me up at this. I don't even get up this early to go to work.
I disagree. Rope drop there is nothing like the magic of Disney first thing in the morning. And then when you can also get those 9 rides in before most people walk out of bed, that's like, there's not a lot of free stuff at Walt Disney World. Yes, the rides aren't free. You are paying for the ticket to have access to those rides, but
what? You're walking out of bed like a conehead.
And again, I think once again my opinion on that is colored by I've been there enough times that I don't necessarily have to get there early in the morning anymore.
I think that's really true. I mean, you brought up the annual pass holder perspective as well, but you being an annual pass holder from out of state, and so you do have that different type of an experience, I guess. And that also we go so much too. And I know you, Craig, you do this even when you're not at a park you're at all the time. But it is one of those where now we know the ins and outs of when is the time to go and beat all these people around. I need to know what this controversial thing is.
Well, it kind of plays off of something that Trey just brought up there when he said, now that he's been so many times, he doesn't need to rope drop. And I'm just going to preface this by saying, yes, we work for a travel agency that specializes in selling Walt Disney World vacations. And if you want to support us and because you like our content, then please book your vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. So that way I get to stay in a job. But I think one of the most overrated things about Walt Disney World is visiting too often. And I love Walt Disney World. Obviously, I go because of work. And when I didn't work for Dreams Unlimited Travel and I worked at Universal, I had my annual pass and I was still going to Walt Disney World all the time because I loved it. And I love it. And I go to Disneyland a lot too. And I go on Disney Cruise Line a lot. But there is also a great big world outside of theme parks in the Disney Corporation and the Walt Disney Company. And just don't ever forget that. I know it is a happy place. We attach the memories, the nostalgia to that, but there is also there's a reason these Imagineers are traveling around the world to get inspiration to bring the theme parks to life. Sometimes you need to step out of the realm and go to those places too. And
taking adventures by Disney, which you can book through Dreams Unlimited Travel.
I'm not even going to get into that because then I will not have a job. Yeah. But I'm staying away from that. But for real, there is so much out there. And while I would never tell people just don't come and go do something else, I don't agree with that too, because every now and then you have to feel like you're going home. You have to go back to your happy place, and that's necessary. But don't be afraid to take a break every once in a while. It'll help you remember why it's special in the first place, and you also might experience something else. So don't feel like you need to come every single vacation. There's a lot of amazing things in the world.
I agree. I would say that there was that stretch towards the end of 2019, I think between August and December. I pretty much went down there every month because, it's easy enough to get in the car. It's about a 6-hour drive from Atlanta. It's either a 6-hour drive or a cheap, quick flight. But by the time December rolled around, I was like, I need a break. Unfortunately, COVID hit and my break became extended to the point where I let my pass lapse. But I didn't renew this year. But the way I kind of feel about it is that I guess this whole situation has been a blessing in disguise in that sense because after the last time I went down there, I was like, I need a break from this. And now I'm like, okay, absence has now made the heart grow fonder, and I'm ready to be back.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It does.
Yeah. So I guess it wasn't as controversial as I thought. I'm glad that I have a like-minded group of people who picked up on what I meant. I just didn't maybe say it as well.
I feel bad saying this. Well, I was just going to say, I feel bad saying this. Like, I definitely agree with you. And now, so I have some friends that are moving out of state, and I was basically like, okay. And they're like, yeah, the next time they were like, I don't know. They're like, I can't imagine. And they're like, we'll come back. We'll probably come back. And I was like, no, don't come back. And I was like, let's just go together to Disneyland. Why would we come here? This place is terrible. Like, and I know that's terrible of me to say because I live here, but I keep thinking like, I now have my vacation destination that I am trying to go to all the time. So I know. I relate to that feeling. I understand that feeling of that pull to want to go all the time.
Right.
I don't feel it toward here because we live here and I hate the weather in Florida. So I think I jive much better with the weather in California than I do in Orlando, Florida. But that's just my body. But you know, I understand why people want to come here. It's just like immersive dip. Like but I completely agree with you. You know, Craig, there's like, see one of the parks outside and go to Tokyo, go to whatever. But no, I do agree. I think once you've had that extended break, like you've said, like I can't imagine what it's going to be like the next time we go to Disneyland, you know, and
Right.
get to step in there again and be like, wow, I didn't know the last time was like September 2019. I didn't know because the year before that I had to go like 6 times for different work related and then like personal stuff. And so like having that big gap now, like going back, it's going to really feel that much more like, wow, I am appreciating so much more that normally I'd just be like, okay, I'm going to go here. And we always say too, don't be afraid to explore the surrounding area. That's the beauty of why I love Disneyland so much is because we got so familiar with it that we're like, oh, I want to eat. I want to start asking our friends, where do we go to eat? Where do we go to drink? What breweries do we go to? What local eateries are you going to? You know, and I think Orlando has a lot to offer in some of that as well.
I agree with that so much.
Yep. And I think that's another overrated
That's why I built in my next trip. I've built in like 2 just non-park days to explore things actually in Orlando. Like, you know, Rhino, you've talked Domu up so much that like I want to go try that place now. Like I want to go to the Gideon's, but maybe not necessarily one in Disney Springs. Maybe I'll go to the East End Market one. Try a couple of breweries. Try a couple of places I've seen y'all eat at that's, you know, outside the parks that look good. I want to try it.
Yeah, no, I think staying on property and not leaving because you want to be immersed 24/7. I think that's an overrated experience of Walt Disney World or Orlando. I have problems with the weather. I share that very openly. I have a problem with a lot of the tourist areas. I grew up in a town that was nothing like Orlando, and it still has not become natural for me. You know, I like it when it's, you know, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night and everything's still open. I will say that. I like it for those reasons, but it's very unnatural for how I was raised. But I also know too that, you know, sometimes you don't appreciate the things you have where you live and everything's around you. And it's always that yearning for, I want to go there, or I want to live there, I want to do that. But then it's eventually you get bored with places and it's a tough internal battle to deal with. But with Orlando, I think people have like the opposite where it's, well, I come there because I only want to get wrapped up in the one place.
Yeah.
But Orlando is such a cool city when you really get out there and start exploring it. There are so many amazing places out there, and it's a city. It's a small one. It's weird.
It's actually the city beautiful because I was about to start saying the great big beautiful tomorrow, but then I realized, well, Orlando means a city beautiful. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I agree with city beautiful, but there are some really great. It's like what you said, the when you dig in and you find those places, like Trey has named a bunch of them. Craig could rattle off a bunch, I'm sure. Like there are places worth going to step out to go through, you know, and it's worth the trip, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jackie. Ladies first.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think a lot of when people want to stay immersed in Walt Disney World property, I think a lot of that has to do with when you're a family that has kids, young kids especially, you want to go on vacation and you want to be immersed in something that your whole family can enjoy together. But then as you get older and as your kids get older and they're able to go into the park by themselves, then, you know, maybe you and your partner are going to go do this, that, and the other at other places off property, or maybe you're going to go grab lunch while the kids are in one of the parks, you know? And so I think that as you get older, you want to kind of branch out a little bit. Like when we used to fly in from Seattle, we never rented a car. So not ever. We never rented a car. So we would fly in, we would take Magical Express to our resort. We were there. We were in it for the whole time we were here. And I had this rule when we lived in Seattle, because we used to go either to New York or we would go to Florida. And I would never fly across the country for anything shy of 2 weeks. But we condensed that down to 10 days for Disney because cost. It's a little pricey to spend that much time there. But you know, like we didn't rent a car because we felt like we could just use, you know, the transportation. So that's another thing. And, you know, then you have to think of car seats, and then, you know, it's all of these extra things. So I think that's what a lot of it has to do with. But when you get to where your kids are able to go off on their own, I think that it then makes sense to really explore around, because like you guys said, there's a lot of stuff around. So anyway.
Yeah.
And you're shocked at how close it is. Like when we first moved, like when we moved to Savannah 11 years ago, and we drove to Walt Disney World for the first time, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I had never stepped foot off of Walt Disney World property. So I couldn't believe what was right there. And that might sound like I was raised in a box maybe, but I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, everything is right here. Like all of it. So, yeah.
And I was saying that, you know, with all this going on, I was thinking with working remote and whatnot, I was thinking, you know, I can live anywhere I want to, potentially. I was like, why not give Orlando a try? But the thing about it is that, you know, I want to see more of Orlando than just the Disney and even the Universal. Like anything, I want to see, let's see what's on the other side of the turnpike, basically. Like downtown, like downtown Orlando, Winter Park, Winter Garden, and all those areas. Like I like exploring the area outside of Disney. Like as much as I love Disney, I need a break from it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think there's more episode ideas in all of this. Why you should take a break from Disney, things like that.
Oh yeah.
I think there's good arguments to be made, but unfortunately, we've got to get this thing back on the rails. Oh, yep, the Choo Choo Master right there. He called it. So that's it. We're back on the rails, guys. This was a fun conversation. And I don't say that sarcastically. I really mean it. This was...
it sounded like you did.
I kind of felt it come out, and I was like, ooh, better preface that one, because it felt like it might get that impression. But no, this was genuinely a really fun conversation. I really enjoyed it. Of course, Rhino and Jackie, thank you for being here. But Trey, thank you so much for filling in Denny's seat today. I really appreciate you.
Those are big shoes to fill.
Yes, it's
yes.
Yeah, famously she wears a size 13.
Yeah. Only Jordans too.
What?
So it's very stylish.
She does.
Is that Denny or Rhino? Is that Denny or Peggy Hill?
Peggy Hill does have big feet. Yeah, that's a good reference.
That's great.
Seriously, Trey, thank you so much for being here and joining us.
Oh, there we go.
It's lost on the audio people, Trey. It's lost on them.
Oh, Trey Griffin, TRESGIFFIN.
There you go.
That's
okay. That is going to do it for this episode of Off the Rails. Again, if you want to book a vacation, hopefully we did not dissuade you from that. But if you still want to book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel, you can get that free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel here, hit that thumbs up, leave us all comments, questions, video suggestions. And if you're listening to this, please, once again, make sure that you are subscribed wherever you get podcasts and you're leaving us 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. So that's it. Thank you all so much once again. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again real soon. Next time we go off the rails. Take care. Bye-bye.